Hello and welcome to Holocron Entries, Explosion Network's Star Wars podcast. Today, we're doing part 1 of our discussion on Star Wars Visions. Not related to Vision, not related to Marvel. Instead, it's a heap of animated short films through anime studios? Anime studios, that's what we're going with. So we're going to be talking about the Duel, Tatooine Rhapsody, the Twins, and the Village Bride. And then we'll do a part 2 for the other 5. Joining me for this, Ashley Holder.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here.
Kieran Marchant.
Guys, it's like real nice to have a Star Wars podcast again. It's been so long since Alderaan Explosion that I've been really hanging out to talk about Star Wars. You know, there's been some great stuff since. It's been a shame we've had no Star Wars programming since, as far as I know.
Well, you know, you could have been on those podcasts.
What podcasts? What? Huh?
The MandaLOREians and the Very Bad Batch.
What do you... Guys, what do you mean?
Right here on this podcast feed, Holocron Entries, ExplosionNetwork.com. Get your after show for the Bad Batch and the Mandalorian.
This is fucking bullshit.
All right, let's get into it. So, first 4 episodes. Overall, hold on, let me check. Has anyone else actually just watched the whole thing, or did we all just watch the 4?
I only watched the 4.
I watched the 4. I watched the 4. No, I only watched the 4.
Okay, I was about to say. I stopped. Yeah, okay, good. Ash, overall thoughts on just the general vibe of the whole sort of thing so far?
I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying it so much that I kind of want more samurai Japanese fantasy stuff. Sci-fi fantasy shit. Please. Thank you. Please give it to me.
Very good.
I'm just digging like all the different styles and the weird stories and like all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm keen to check out the other 5 and then hopefully we get more of this kind of stuff in the future. Like, yeah, because obviously it's easy to go, I don't know, maybe we go different creators, different countries, that kind of stuff, telling weird kind of Star Wars-esque stories. But, you know, if any of these companies want to, like, do their own rip-off version, I'll happily watch.
What if it's bad, though?
I don't mind. I'll probably still watch for at least a while.
You probably would, to be honest. Kieran, what are your overall thoughts so far?
This is some good shit. Like this is like top caliber. Disney just throwing money at Japanese anime studios and just being like, or just anime studios in general, and just be like, fucking just make it. Do what you want with the property. You don't need to feel the constraints of kind of what we've already done. Make your own non-canon stuff that could be crazy and wacky and pull from all different types of anime and Japanese culture, and it just really freshens up Star Wars and brings a whole new kind of viewpoint to Star Wars. I fucking loved it. Like, even just like the opening episode had like Afro samurai vibes to it, even though it's throwing back to kind of more old school samurai tales in many ways and Ronin. But immediately, because I guess it just completely makes sense. And I was thinking about this during the last episode, that it makes so much sense because of how much inspiration George Lucas pulled for the Jedi and the Sith from Japanese samurai culture. Like it just fits so well. And you know, I really am loving the duality between episodes, of how much episodes change and how different in contrast they are from each other. Even just these 4, you know, I would never say any of them repeat each other or kind of step on each other's toes. They're all extremely individual. They tell their own stories, and it's nice that they're just quick and simple and to the point. There's no need for kind of excessive exposition. There's just, you know, just reading into it as people watching this know Star Wars. Just make anime of it and let people enjoy it. It's it's really, really fucking good.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's just a sort of breath of fresh air to get something that's just like weird, wacky Star Wars things without any sort of barricades on. I love the idea of them, you know, being able to do stuff like this and even non-anime things. Just be like, look, It's not canon. Go crazy. Do whatever you want. Kill fucking Chewbacca in episode 4, and I don't know. You know, like it's just. It's like, I'm not saying like do what if stories, but you know, just do whatever the hell you want. Doesn't really matter. So instead of just going by episode order, I thought it would be sort of fun to just throw it up in the air and go, Ash, what is your least favorite of the first 4?
Ooh. I think it might be the twins. It's like, that's the one that I had to go back and watch a second time because I kind of lost focus the first time. Obviously, I still think it's really good. Obviously, you know, the story of 2 twins powered by the dark side, and then, you know, like beautifully animated by Studio Trigger, who've done stuff like Promare, which was a big anime movie in the last year or so. Might be longer.
I mean, this just looks like Kill la Kill, doesn't it?
I guess. Yeah, they did Kill la Kill.
Even their character costumes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a lot of the Studio Trigger stuff seems to be pretty similar. So yeah, I that's probably my least favorite one. It's like pretty standard story of twins like coming to blows. One's the good one and one's the bad twin, you know. And you know, all those some cool stuff like using the lightsaber and the hyperspace on the ship. I don't know how they're all surviving out in space without any spacesuits or anything. That seems to be something that's kind of odd, but you know, other than that, it's all cool visually. You know,
I like it how your problem is that survived in space without spacesuits, not the fact that he rode on top of a fighter on a ship as it went into hyperspace and cut perfectly with his lightsaber, cut his sister's armor off, cut the ship she was standing on, but she survived and didn't get any major injuries.
And he believes she's somehow alive while she's in the vacuum of space.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense just because of Star Wars bullshit with the Force. Like, that happened with Luke and Leia being like, I can sense the other one. It's,
Kieran, where would you put this
I would say the twins, only because I think the twins took a little bit long just to really get into what was going on and really kind of get into itself. I think once the fighting started, I was in, and I really enjoyed Trigger's kind of combat animation and their style for it. I just feel like the opening was just a bit slow for it and a bit maybe too much exposition when I guess this was the first longer. The twins was the first longer episode, I believe. Because I think
like
the other 2 episodes were slightly towards maybe the more 10-minute mark, like the 13-14 minute mark, I think, off the top of my head. And maybe just going into this one just felt a little bit more extended and a little bit more longer running. So yeah, it just didn't feel as punchy as the 2 previous ones had. That made it the worst of a great 4 episodes, if that makes sense. Like, it wasn't bad. Like, I still enjoyed it and got behind it. It was just something has to be the worst of the 4, I guess.
So I would put this as my second least favorite.
Okay. Can I guess your least favorite?
In a second, after I give my 2 cents.
Okay.
So we just don't get too distracted. But I mean, I like Studio Trigger stuff because I've actually watched a little bit of their stuff in general. But I just think that this just goes too anime, and it's weird though because if this was like original property type thing, all the weird wacky space stuff, maybe my brain would be more okay with it because it's in a universe where they're sort of setting up their rules and boundaries or whatever else, and you're like, that's fine or whatever. But because it's Star Wars and I have someone riding on top of an X-wing and they perfectly cut this jewel fucking out of someone's chest and then their clothes explode and. You know, I feel like out of the first 4, this is the most straight up, just the most anime or.
I mean, they do have a very similar moment in one of the other ones. So, you know, if someone.
I don't think it's as bad. I think this is the most sort of straight up animated. It's Japanese as fuck, yo. It's I guess off the
it's anime as
freaking tentacle lightsaber arms. It was weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff. That was cool.
Also, I thought Alison Brie's delivery was like a little bit over the top.
This is a point that's interesting. So I watched all these episodes in Japanese.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I was about to say, for people, I guess maybe say to So the voice cast for the two main characters were Neil Patrick Harris and Alison Brie in this one. So.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a weird choice of actors. This one, like that's two really odd choices of actors for this almost more serious anime episode. That's sure.
All right. Do you want to try and guess my least favorite then? And I'll tell you.
Is your least favorite Tatooine Rhapsody?
Correct.
Yeah. I can understand that, yeah.
No, do you hate it what's one of the things that triggered you was the fact that the lightsaber was a microphone?
No, I just thought it was just such a, just sort of a very empty story. Like, it was just the most sort of, it's got a very fun vibe, but I just thought overall it was pointless. So I didn't really get anything out of it.
Did you miss the?
No, I watched the whole thing.
In your no. In your growing up period, in your youth.
I'm still there.
Did you miss Adventure Time and the regular show and stuff like that and Steven Universe and
I've watched
pieces?
I've watched a few episodes of regular show. The rest of those programs I've never watched in my life.
Right, because this is very much like this. Because this was done by Studio Colorado, so this isn't a Japanese based. I think it's actually an American based.
It says they're Japanese.
They're Tokyo, Japan.
Is it? Oh, they are. Okay. Well, Studio Colorado.
Colorado, I think.
Colorado? Is it Colorado? I read Colorado.
But
this is for me. This episode was less anime and more Western cartoon, if anything. With
what have they done? That it doesn't say.
Well, they've done a couple of Pokemon shorts recently, which you can definitely tell by the art style. I think it definitely feels kind of they definitely have the most cartoony art style. Their design for Boba Fett is cut a couple of inches off him, and everyone's kind of short and that kind of stuff. Very cutesy. But no, they've done Penguin Hideaway and Whisker Away, both on Netflix and that kind of stuff. So,
they did a Whisker Away, right?
Whisker
Okay,
Away, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Well, they worked on Whisker Away.
Well, where would this one be in yours then, Ash?
This would be 30.
Yeah, okay. So we're literally just trading places.
Yeah, they're very similar. But yeah, I like the cutesy style, and it definitely looked different. Definitely looking into very much a separate area of the Star Wars universe, which we haven't seen much before. Even though it's a setting that we've obviously seen before, with certain characters that we've seen before. But there's these kids that want to play music. It's wow, they have rock music in the Star Wars universe as well. It's not just random cantina music. Okay. I mean, it's a weird one. It's hey,
Jabba the Hutt sponsor.
Hey, Jabba the Hutt, you gangster! Do you want to sponsor us?
And he does.
He does. Did they sing in English or was it a Japanese song?
No, so they sing in Japanese. The song is about so. This episode took longer for me because I rewatched the whole song in English and in Japanese.
Okay.
Because I wanted to see what the English version was like. The Japanese version shits all over the English version, obviously because the song was originally written in Japanese. So It just fits a whole heap better, and it just kind of I don't know. I guess in general I'm a fan of J-rock and Japanese music, and I listen to it on a regular. So I guess it was that kind of helped this episode. I like it. I would say I put it in the same spot as episode as 3 on the list. For me, this was the not serious one. This one reminded me of a Saturday morning cartoon, a more kind of just fun filled random anime that was just a lot more.
It's if there was an episode of Thor partying on planet Earth for a whole week or something.
Yes.
Felt like that.
Exactly. Yeah, feeling like that. Exactly. It's I guess down to the art style, down to the story that they tried to tell, where they included the darkness of, this previous Jedi Padawan. Padawins, actually, they're the ones that become Jedi because they're Padawins. But Padawans are staying as
Padawins, they're winners.
Padawins survived Order 66.
Yeah, Padawins definitely survived Order 66. But yeah, I still think he included enough Star Wars, but at the same time, it was just a wacky, a crazy. Honestly, I feel like somebody in that studio was like, hey, I want to do a Japanese rock song segment in a Star Wars episode, and they just built around that.
Where's this rank on yours then, Kieran?
This is third still. Like I still
all this.
I think there's something I feel it's still the same as Ash, where I think the other two episodes just have a little bit more something special about them, and they're kind of stepping it up. But this one is just it's really fun. Music's fucking fantastic. If you've watched it in English, please just go check it out in Japanese as well, just to kind of see the difference.
I'm gonna assume the rest of our rankings is the same then, considering there's 2 episodes, and I'm just assuming we all have the top the same. So, yell out if your number 2 isn't The Village Bride. Yeah, okay. So let's talk about this one then before we get to what we've all deemed to be the best episode then. So yeah, Karen, what do you think of the Village Bride, in which this sort of hidden Jedi, I guess?
I think this is the one that does the most with Star Wars lore. This one for me is I think it feels like it's written by somebody who knows Star Wars a lot more and a lot better, and kind of uses the tools it has to kind of play around with it a little bit. I think like the inclusion of the Separatists and like the inclusion of the original droids, kind of, and just the setting for it, I really enjoyed. I guess the character's name throughout the whole thing is just the Masked Woman or Masked Girl.
Wikipedia says she's named F.
F? Okay. Yeah, I think because that's all the subtitles say. But yeah, I think her story is really interesting and really fun. I like that she is the first outright Jedi that we've seen in this show. Like, she is the first, like, kind of Jedi we've seen. I think her to steal a wrestling term for a moment, I popped so hard at her lightsaber design. I thought her lightsaber design was so fucking cool. And just the story itself, I think it gave itself enough time to take in the environment, to build upon the world. You know, if we're comparing this to Twins, where I said Twins takes a long time to set up, you'd say this one probably takes longer to set up, but I think it does it in a more encroaching way that brings you in and really pulls you into it and makes you want to listen and want to learn and want to see the beauty that is the landscapes of that planet. I think this episode was absolutely fantastic.
Ash?
Yeah, I definitely really dug it as well. You know, just I think this setup was probably more balanced. It's like, this is a very, like, pretty... It's a cliche story, you know? A village has been, like, run over by bandits, whatever, you know, and they're going to take somebody as collateral, you know? And then it's not that similar to the other one we really like when you get down to it. But, you know, I think, you know, obviously F, like, really cool design. I really like, I think his name's Volvo. Valko, the other explorer dude with the weird helmet, you know. They don't really do much explanation as to why she's there or how they know each other.
I guess, hiding after.
I guess hiding after
or something. I don't know.
That seems to be it. Yeah, you know. And yeah, this is one of the ones that like brings in a bunch of like other stuff, and there's obviously that mystical, spiritual energy element to it that kind of makes it feel like it's more. Then obviously you got this wedding where everybody, you know, is super sad. You know, yeah, and then you get that cool like face-off moment at the very end after they blow up the spaceship, like with the helmet.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is that helmet? And then it, like,
dude's helmet is he's just rocking explosive charges in his helmet. Like, what a madman.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one. I like the sort of, it's a very simple story. It's literally just, you know, coming out of hiding to save and planet and then go do something. I guess all of these are simple stories in this whole thing so far. My favorite thing though was the fact that even though, you know, Jedi are supposed to be able to like basically have super movement speed or whatever, and the one time you see them ever do it in the movies is actually just in Phantom Menace, where Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon just do that one moment where they like super speed down the hallway or whatever, and they never do it again in the movies. But in this, she has she like clips her heels like it's got a jet booster in her or some shit like that, so goes for it. Yeah, I thought this was really good. Let's get to the one that we all we all think is the best of the original four. Another very simple sort of story, straightforward story, but I guess it's just the reason this one stands out for me is the animation is insane and the fights and all that are just so cool, and just the general aesthetic and everything else. And if you watch this, because some people may have missed the news when they originally talked about this, but if you like this and you would like more, there is actually a book coming out.
Yeah, like you said, like animation's great. I think especially to kick things off, obviously this is the first one. It's like obviously black and white. It's like, other than obviously the red lightsabers and that kind of stuff, really stood out. And then obviously the very Japanese designs of stuff. Like the droid is like got like a samurai hat kind of thing all over him, and all the village feels like it's out of Ghost of Tsushima and all that, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it definitely felt more samurai, Ronin, Lone Wolf and Cub, or any of those kind of stories, than any of the other ones. And I think it's the art style that makes it kind of stand out more than anything else. Obviously that black and white look and design,
just the distinct character designs that I think also stand out more in black and white. Like there's no fancy details or anything. It's just like stylized good animation. Nothing fancy really.
No.
Yeah.
And then it's like, is the Ronin a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he on board with this? He's not like an actual Jedi, we assume. He's just like going around killing Sith.
He's a Ronin.
Collecting cardboard.
He's a Ronin, exactly.
He's, as Dylan would say, a grey Jedi.
Yeah.
This is Ahsoka in a different skin.
Well, okay. Karen, what do you think?
Look, pause any moment in this goddamn episode, and it's a piece of artwork. Like it is a cell from a kind of any anime studio with just it's. If you just pause and just pay attention to like the cross-hatching detail, that I would love to know the hours that got put into making this episode, because holy fuck, it is just so, even though it's stylized and it's simplified in so many ways, it is almost the most complex kind of form of animation in Japan. I loved how the reds of the lightsabers looked. The story in general, even just building that hype cool moment of everything looks like it's going against the Ronin, and then it cuts over to the teapot, and the teapot starts to boil, and it's like, oh shit, he said make sure my droid's fixed before the kettle boils, and it just has like such a cool vibe to it. There's the action, the animation, the character designs as a whole. There's nothing to not love about this episode. I think there is a very obvious reason why this is put as the first episode for the season, because this is supposed to be hey, look, this is what people are going to do with our IP if we keep giving these amazing studios an opportunity to do whatever they like in our worlds. It's where you have to be companies should be envious of Disney, not for the fact of they own so much, but more the fact that they have these amazing toy boxes that they can just give to studios and give them the backing and support to make something out of it and make incredible pieces of art and pieces of media out of them. I'm really excited for this, and really excited to see how it goes forward. It makes. It's really exciting. I can't say enough good things about this episode.
My favorite thing is the fact that it appears that the Ronin doesn't turn off their lightsaber. It's just like it's hilted like an actual katana.
Yes.
It's like such a subtle sort of detail or whatever, but that was cool. Also, I was like, did he get his arm cut off? But apparently not. It's fine.
No, he definitely no.
Like the arms can't come off in everything.
Well,
it'd just become a trope,
That's true. Yeah. Anything we've missed? Anything you thought of while we've been recording that you want to shout out about any of the episodes so far?
I'm excited to see so far in this episode it's been really interesting that you'd almost say all 4 episodes come from a different period of time within the Star Wars timeline in general. You would say the first episode is kind of maybe post episode 6.
According to the description of the novel, takes place in the Old Republic period.
Really? Because that was okay. That's interesting. Because a lot of the designs were reminiscent of like kind of Stormtrooper and Empire designs, but they were just feudal Japan. Okay, so that's fair enough.
Ash, any final?
No, I'm just keen to watch the rest and like get some cool designs. Was that like 3-headed dude from like the Tatooine rock band? Was that? Have we seen anything like him before? Because that felt like very anime, but
not that I recall. No.
Very much like a anime monster kind of thing. But yeah.
All right, we'll be back in a few days. By the time I publish this, a few days later, we'll have part 2 up of this, and we'll talk about the next 5 episodes. Yeah, right. Yeah, 9 episodes. Yeah. Next 5 episodes. So stay tuned for then. Make sure you subscribe to Holocron Entries. Check out explosionnetwork.com, and we'll see you there. Bye.